Hi everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and today we're going to be building a team of Wonderkids that you can sign for under £15 million combined. There's going to be players of a variety of different price ranges, ability levels, and accessibility for a variety of different level of teams. I feel like I've said variety a few times there, so I think the best thing to do is to run the intro and get right into looking at these amazing Wonderkids. Hi everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and as I mentioned, today we're going to be looking at a variety of Wonderkids that you guys can sign for a combined total of under £15 million. So in theory, if you've got 15 million, you can buy this full squad. Before we get into looking at every individual player, I'd like to ask you guys, if you could, the absolute legends, smash the like button. It really does help in video performance. I'm not just saying it, it really does. So if you could do that, that would be amazing. Comment down below your bargain unknown Wonderkid. So hopefully anyone that comes to this video can then have a list, not just in this video, but in the comments of people to buy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and feel free to check out my channel. Links in the description. Just one final note, there's going to be players in here that I'm hoping even the most experienced Football Manager player won't know everyone in this list. If you can't find them in your save, it might be because your database isn't big enough or you don't have that league in your game, but I've tried to get a variety of different leagues, so hopefully it will cover someone in all of your saves. So with that being said, let's get into player number one. There's going to be 10 players today. We've decided to leave out the goalkeeper, and we start off at right back with a player who is definitely more potential than he is current ability. Looking at him right from the off, he doesn't look all that special, but he's the kind of player that you'll be able to pick up even if you're not playing at the highest level. This is Charlie MacArthur. He's a Scottish 16-year-old who can be signed for anywhere between 500,000 to $1 million. It could be more, it could be less, depending on what his potential range is in your guys' saves. He's playing for their under 18s, and some of the things I like about him, in this save at least, I don't know if this is across all saves, he can play right back or centre back. Realistically, with that crossing, I'm looking at him as a centre back at 6'2" as well. His physicals will need work, but he's 16 and he does have decent potential, so he can grow into a decent player. That goes for everyone in this list. I won't mention that for all of them, but if they're in this video, that's because they're a Wonderkid on the FMSCOUT site, which means that they have a potential range to be a Wonderkid according to the rules of our list. So this guy can certainly be a Wonderkid. Mentally is probably where he shines, because for the ones that are highlighted, the ones that are useful for this centre-back role, he's already doing pretty well in some of them. Positioning and determination. Determination being so high will help him in his development. He is a very, very good tackler for any age really, so the fact he's got this at 16 means you can kind of focus on everything else. Get his marking up and suddenly you've got a centre-back who can head, can tackle, is good at positioning himself, can mark, and once his physicals grow, you'll have a centre-back that can compete at a decent level. I'm not saying he's going to be well beaten, but he is a decent option, and he's the first player that makes our team. Here's our second player. Before we look at him though, I'd like to let you guys know, I have mentioned it already, but I do have my own channel, links in the description, to tell you a little bit more about that. We have more Let's Play style stuff on there, so we have random one-off rebuilds, and I'll put one on the screen now, and we also do a long-form series, a Let's Play series with Wolfsburg currently, which a lot of you guys have came over, checked it out, and said you've really enjoyed and have subscribed to the channel, which means a lot to me. If any of you want to come check it out, see what you think, you can change your mind and never come back if you decide you don't like it, but if you could go over there, hit the subscribe button, check out a video, maybe the other way around, but see what you think, and that would be awesome. But yeah, back to the video. We are looking at a centre-back whose name I am definitely going to butcher, but I'll do my best. It's Strahinja Erakovic. He is a Serbian centre-back with 2 under-21 caps at the start of your save. He plays for Red Star Belgrade in the Serbian First Division, I believe, so the highest division in Serbia, and he is a decent player right from the off all round. He's a bit older than some of the others, so there's less potential there and more current ability. So with this guy, you're kind of knowing what you're going to get a little bit more, and what you are going to get is a player who is good with both feet, physically very well rounded, not lacking in too many areas, mentally again well built with a good base set to build up from, not criminally lacking in any area and not standing out amazingly in any other. And then technically he can tackle, he can head, he can mark. He's got the divine trio that you need there for a centre back. Of course from here you can decide what you want with him, whether you want to level him out a bit with his passing or whether you want to focus on him being one of these central defenders on defend, focusing on just heading that ball away, and that's all he does. Who knows what you want to do, but you can pick him up for around 1.5 million in this save if we're going midway between the valuations, and maybe you can get him for more, maybe you can get him for less, depends what kind of player he is in your guys' saves. Our other centre-back is one that should hopefully be fairly accessible. He is a Spanish centre-back, so in the Spanish leagues, hopefully this is what you guys have got loaded into your save. His name is Alberto Quintana, and he can play midfield or centre-back really, wherever you want to play him. I've put him in centre-back for the sake of the video, but realistically, he might be a better defensive midfielder. You guys do what you want, let's just showcase the player. He plays for Malaga in the Spanish second division, and by the looks of it, he's in their first team, not their under-19s or anything like that. Does he have a release clause? He has one of 3.6 million. I don't know whether that's the same across every save, but you'd hope it would be. But realistically, you can get him for cheaper than that. Let's say midway between his valuation, 1.5 million. Bear in mind the £50 million mark on the title. We might go a bit under, we might go a bit over. I haven't done the full calculations, but roughly it worked out to about there. So any of you maths people with a calculator out, leave me alone for one video. But here we go. Alberto Quintana is good mentally with a good base set to build up from. He's got a lot of things to like there and not too many that you'd be annoyed with. Technically, he's also pretty nicely balanced with some good tackling technique as well as a player who can pass, mark and head. He needs a bit of work on his first touch and his physicals, to be honest, which aren't great for a 19-year-old, but they can be developed. He's a right footer who likes to dive into tackles and try long range passing. With a bit of development, he can definitely be someone who can feature in your guys' sides. I'm not saying he'll be playing at a Barcelona level, but maybe if you're a Spanish first division team competing for a Champions League spot at full growth, Alberto Quintana could definitely help your guys' sides. So I compiled this list on my phone, and I'm not quite sure what formation everyone's in, so I do apologise if the tactics aren't making sense, but hey, you're still getting a full squad of Wonderkids here, and I'm sure we'll figure it out for the thumbnail. But this guy is one of my favourites in the list. He's 20 years old, so he's a bit further down the line than some of the others, so you know what you're getting a little bit more. He's a Brazilian right back who can play all the way along that right flank, but realistically you'll be using him in this fullback position. He plays for FLA, which is before the name pack's been fixed, but I believe this might be Flamengo. But either way, FLA is what you're looking for, and he is in their reserve team. Let's go back to the player. Where's he gone? Come back here. My favourite thing about him isn't just his attributes, it's his name. It's perfectly Brazilian. It's Matias Zinho, which I've probably pronounced incorrectly, but I do love that name. If we're looking at a valuation, let's say for the sake of the video, 2.5 million, and it's going to be fairly consistent because you know what you're getting in the save with this guy now, as he is already 20 years old, and straight away he is super nicely balanced to play in that right back spot. Good physically, good mentally, very, very good technically. He can cross, he can dribble, and he can defend just as well as he can pass moving forward with some good vision, positioning, teamwork. This guy is the real deal. He is like your Gabriel Meninos if you're on a budget, that kind of player. Interestingly, he likes to try long free kicks with a 9 free kick rating. Probably don't let him do that with only 10 long shots as well. Who knows where that's came from, but he is a good option. He's one of my favourites in this video. For a bargain price, if he's in your save, he can definitely do you a solid job at all levels of the game. Moving into midfield now, and we have a Portuguese central midfielder by the name of Thomas Handel. He plays for VTSC, which I believe is Vitória Guimarães. I don't know how you actually pronounce it, but without the full name pack on, I assume it's them, but look for this kind of colour badge, you'll get the idea. They are in the Spanish First Division. Thomas is seemingly in their first team, and as a player, I'm a big fan. You're looking at around £2 million for this guy, 20 years old, so again, a bit further in his development than some others. He can play defensive midfield or central midfield, but I think he is perfectly suited, as it says here, to deep line playmaking roles. Physically, not blowing anyone away, but he has everything that he needs. The same mentally, but he has great vision, great passing, and great technique. This guy, who likes to dictate tempo and run with the ball often, is your playmaker, the thing that all the balls go through. He's going to be spraying them out. That's the kind of role you're going to use Thomas for. There's better players out there. There's players you've probably heard of more, but Thomas does have good potential, and he's not someone that's going to be completely sought after that you can't get him, and you might be able to get him at a lower level side than your Chelsea's like we are here. So he's definitely a great option if you want a playmaking midfielder in that centre, covering your team, acting as the pivot for your side. Thomas Handel could be your man. We won't spend too long on this guy because I've done a whole Wonderkid to Superstar on him, where he basically became one of the greatest midfielders to ever play the game. Magnus Swedberg, all I can say, if you have him in your save, get him. He plays for Hammarby in the Swedish Premier Division. About £2 million you'd look to pay for him. Model citizen, good physically, good mentally, good technically, 17 years of age, well balanced in everything. Model citizen, I'll say it again, good with both feet. Sign him up, play him in any single role in that midfield, and you are on to a winner. Hey, it's our first player with a face in the face pack in this extremely dated face pack that I'm using. It is Dominic Jatai, a Bulgarian with 6 international caps already, who plays for Ludogorets. This guy is going to cost you a bit more than some of the others in this list. We're looking at about £2.5–3 million for him, and he is a lot further in his development than some of the others, but it makes him a very nice player to be able to buy. He can play a variety of positions, but for the sake of this video, let's say attacking midfielder or central midfield. He's definitely, if he is a central midfielder, looking to play that attacking style, and you can kind of see that with Mazzala and advanced playmaker being the highlighted roles for him. But let's put him in attacking midfield and have a look at him. Physically, nicely balanced, probably his weakest area of the game, but it will develop over time. It's just that strength and stamina aren't the best to look at straight away. Good with both feet, with some very nice player traits that lend themselves to him getting in the box and scoring goals, moving into channels, running with the ball often, getting into the area, playing 1-2s, that kind of thing can lead to a lot of goals from Dominic Jatai. Mentally, very nicely built with good attributes in every area and 16 determination, which I assume, considering he's 20, I imagine that won't change much in your guys' saves in terms of what it starts on. If it is even variable, that is, I imagine at the age of 20, this might be set in stone for him. Good work rate, good vision, good passer with great technique. Corners, crossing, dribbling, first touch, finishing, it's all at a level that no one will complain about. But if you're looking for a player that definitely represents value for money, Dominic Jatai could be your man to hold that midfield position and create the chances from the centre of the park. Moving on to our forward three, and the first player we have on the right hand side is Matias Goncalves, playing for FLA, so you best hope you've got them loaded in your save, because they've got a good few Wonderkids here, amongst many others that I'm sure they've got. You're going to be looking at about £2 million for this man, depending on what his potential is in your save. Matias Goncalves is a 15-year-old Brazilian with plenty of potential, which means you can kind of mould him into whatever your side needs. If you need a goal scorer coming in from the right, because he is left-footed playing on the right, he's either going to be inverted winger or inside forward, I would imagine, unless you're playing a tactic that's probably not going to suit him too much. But depending on what you want for him, you can mould him into. Physically, he's got that pace early on, so that's something he's always going to have, and everything else will come with time. Mentally, will need work, but he's got good determination and flair. Of course he is. He's a tricky Brazilian winger. He can dribble at a level that players can only dream of, good long shots, good passing, and great technique. His technicals will need work in other areas, but he's 15 years old. He's not going to be the finished product, but by the time he is, you're looking at one of the best midfielders in world football. Another superstar, one that was boosted in the winter update that I've made a solo video on, is Tobias Gullickson. He's a Norwegian attacking player who can play central midfield or on that left wing. He plays for Strømgodset in the Norwegian Premier Division, and he is already a key man for them. He's been there for a couple years and has already played over 30 games for them by the age of 17 in the league alone. £1 million is going to pick you up a player who is good with both feet, decently balanced physically, very nicely balanced mentally, and very nicely balanced technically. A great base set to build up from, another one that you can kind of mould into whatever player you're looking for. If you want a Mazzala on attack, you can make him that. If you want an inside forward on the left hand side, you can make him that. Train him in the way you want him, and this guy will definitely lend you some goals and assists and just overall great play. Check out the Wonderkid Superstar on him if you haven't already. It wasn't too long ago, and he really set the world alight there. We finish with a player who I did a spotlight on not too long ago, Momodou Jatai. I was looking for strikers in the price range. I couldn't find too many, but for a few £1 million, you can get your hands on this Swiss Wonderkid, who I have seen do well in many a save because just of the way that he's built to start off with. I'd suggest we've got a very poor version of him here in this save. He is usually a lot better than this, so keep that in mind. This guy can score plenty of goals at full development, whether you use him on the wing or up front. Physically, he's quick, and you're going to have to build up the rest. Mentally, decent in some areas, not great in others, but determination in this save has really just hit us on the back of the head, to be honest. We don't want determination like that. If he has that in your save, I'd suggest not signing him, although that's all up to you and how you play the game. Scout him, see what you think. That's the case with all the players in this list. Give them a scout. If they've got good potential in your save, your scouts will let you know, and then they'll be worth the pickup and worth thinking about. He's only 16, he's got a lot of time to develop. You'll be looking at a completely different player by the age of 21. Like I say, I've done a Wonderkid Superstar on him. If you want to check that out and see what he looks like, you can do, but basically, he's quick, he's a good finisher, he can dribble, and he's got good technique. He will score you goals at the highest level once he develops. He does play for Basel, by the way, I didn't mention that. They're in the Swiss divisions, that's a hard word to get out, but yeah, a great player. All these players are good options. I'm hoping at least some of them were new to you, particularly some of the ones that we started with. We got into a few more familiar faces going forward, but if I'm looking at a budget video and I've got options like Gullickson and Swedberg, they're going to be in there because why not? We did also try and diverge away from the usual players that we pick as well, so hopefully you found someone useful in this video. If you have, drop a like. Let me know in the comments which player you'd like to put in this team, or which is your favourite Bargain Wonderkid, whatever it might be, so everyone can just see a list of Wonderkids and sign whoever in their saves. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a great day. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.